Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. We're going very vulnerable today. I kindly request that you do not judge, but you know what? You can judge. It's fine. Today I wanted to talk to you about my bisexual awakenings. But first, a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, Pride Counselling. As you can probably tell from this video, identity is tricky and it's sometimes a little bit cringe, and that's okay, because if you want to talk about it, Pride Counselling could be a great resource for you. Pride Counselling provides private online therapy specifically for LGBTQTs like you. I've used them a lot, and one of the biggest phrases that has honestly changed my mindset from Pride Counselling is hearing that it's not your fault, but it can still be your problem. Just a little nugget of wisdom in case it helps anyone of you out. The therapists on the service are also licensed, trained, and fully accredited with at least 3 years of experience and certification from their state's professional boards, and it's also online, which means you can take it from the comfort of your own home by video call, text, phone, however you want to. And because it's online, it's also cheaper than traditional therapy, legit half the cost of my previous therapists. And if you still can't quite afford it, that's totally okay. Just know that Pride Counselling also has financial aid that you can apply for, because everybody deserves access to good mental health. If you want to find out more or potentially sign up, you can take a look at the link downstairs in the description box, pridecounselling.com/Shaaba, and you also get 10% off your first month. Alright, shall we get on with covering the more cringe aspects of my identity? I publicly came out as bi in 2018. This was quite a while after I had been an ally to the LGBT plus community, basically since Jamie had told me that he was trans and came out, and there were 2 reasons really that I delayed publicly coming out. First was because I was really nervous that people would sort of correlate my identity with Jamie's identity and end up disrespecting his identity as a result, which I just didn't want. And the second reason was because it took me a while to figure it out myself. I guess I should have done this the other way around, because I knew and had told my loved ones a while before I mentioned it online. But it really did take me a while to figure out that I was bi, and I really question why. I have a couple theories. Growing up, especially during that time where you're sexually exploring as a teen, you're developing crushes and there's hair coming out of places and you're like, what is going on? All my exes were boys. I'd only had long-term relationships with boys. Then when my family found out about me and Jamie, I just was slapped in the face with, you're a lesbian, just admit it, you're a lesbian. So I think between society telling me that I should be straight and a very odd reaction to a relationship insisting and trying to convince me that I was a lesbian, that I was trying to fight adamantly against. Not because there's anything wrong with being a lesbian, but just because that wasn't me. And I didn't want to invalidate Jamie's identity by even accommodating any kind of thought like that. There was just a lot of pressure to stick labels on, and it was only really around my early 20s when I was going through this self-love and self-exploration period of, okay, who actually am I? Did I get the time to freely explore my identity across numerous spectrums, including sexual orientation. But you know what? Looking back and excluding any personal experience that I have had, I should have known from such a young age. I wanted to go through with you some of my, well, duh, how did you not know moments of people that I crushed on in the general media growing up. It's gonna be embarrassing, I know it is, but hey, join in if you would like to. You can be as vulnerable as me. Pop your little butt downstairs in the comments section and let me know who your bisexual awakenings are too. Should we go through some of mine? Oh lord, oh, for my sins. The first was from the movie Twilight. 2 people in particular, I say 2 people, it's actually 3. Kellen Lutz, don't ask me why. Ashley, who plays Alice, I was just obsessed. And Jasper. And when I watch the movies back now, I'm like, why Shaaba? Why? Alice in particular, it's just the constant bi struggle. Do I want to kiss her? Do I want to be her? I don't know, I'm bi. Based on my taste now, Alice is absolutely still a hard crush. I'm not gonna lie. Kellen Lutz and Jasper, not so much. It's something about the flicky hair and the cute little nose. She was also just the coolest person in the show, right? It's not just me. She had like the coolest power. She's just cute and quirky. I'm gonna stop going into this. It's just gonna be like a 10-15 minute video of Shaaba swooning. Okay, the next one is such a curveball to me, particularly because they're Asian too. Jasmine and Aladdin. Jasmine and Aladdin. Talk about power couples. They're both just so beautiful, and the fact that Jasmine had a tiger, I don't know, I just found that really compelling. The more I talk about this, the more I'm just like, Shaaba, how did you not know? All the signs were there. I understand that Aladdin as well is very problematic in its own way for many reasons, but one thing that I've always really respected is how Jasmine was very like, no, I deserve to make my own choices. I am my own person. She fought for herself and what she wanted, and I thought that was pretty cool, especially coming from Asian rep. Okay, the next one, Dun dun dun. Kim Possible. I never understood why I like the show so much, but I guess now it makes sense. I definitely feel like I have a type as well. There's just something special about the girl power that highlighted something in me. I particularly loved her outfit. I don't know why. It's the most basic thing ever. One day I will be Kim Possible for Halloween. It is going to be a thing. And speaking of outfits, the other ones that really stood out to me were the Bring It On cheerleaders, particularly the Clovers. Basically every Bring It On cheerleading movie ever was some form of bisexual awakening, but specifically the Clovers. Every single cheerleader was so impressive, and I have to question whether my being impressed was wholly to do with the fact that they could all do incredible flips, or whether it was something else. Okay, so this next one I'm a tiny little bit embarrassed about, okay? And the reason being is because it's not a good show. I'm talking about Pretty Little Liars, and particularly Emily. Now give me credit. Emily, played by Shay Michelle, is just the most beautiful person in the world. I follow her on Instagram. She's got a cute little bubba now. I think maybe two, but she's just such a beautiful person. However, Emily is such a sponge of a character. Emily's actually also LGBT+. I don't want to give too many spoilers away about the show. Not that I feel like you should watch the show, because trust me, it is a tremendous waste of your time. But you know, one of those things where you just invested because you watch too much, you're like, oh, but it's a Concord fallacy, because you're like, no, I really shouldn't have continued. My point is, Emily was a sponge of a character, and not any kind of representation of what I think a person should be, though she was pretty. That's so bad. I'm a bad person. But maybe I redeem myself with this next one. I present to you Emma Stone from Easy A. Do you feel? Do you understand? I feel like this one needs no explanation. Emma Stone is just unbelievably good looking. But from Easy A in particular, dude.
We are officially over. Oh, rats.
I just loved her confidence. I loved how she owned up to her mistakes. I feel like there is a concurring pattern between the women that I attribute to my bisexual awakening journey. What is it? I just think they're all like badasses, with Emily being the exception. There's just something about them. I also relate a lot to ECA and Emma Stone's character here, because there are two sides of her, right? There's a side that's like, ooh, burn. But then there's also the side where she's like pricking herself trying to sew and singing, I got a bucket full of sunshine in the shower with the card just incessantly on repeat. And I just feel like she embodies everything I aspired to be. By the end of the movie, I should say, not the beginning where she messes everything up. Speaking of messing everything up, for this next one, it's essentially a whole cast that I'm telling you about. The Devil Wears Prada cast, particularly Anne Hathaway, who is a glorious specimen of a human being. Shout out as well to Emily Blunt, who wasn't particularly, like, in this, I wouldn't attribute her to being part of my bisexual awakening, but in every other movie she's played, she's just freaking incredible. And big respect to Meryl Streep, who is stunning, absolutely glorious, inside and out. I think it's the character in particular that really just, I would be so whipped. Oh god, there's just something about how an eye can say so much. I'm just a little... But no, Anne Hathaway's character, and also the guy who plays Nate, very attractive, nasty, total a human being, but easy on the eyes, I tell you, they made a very good looking couple. Alright, the next one is from a show that I'm sure we've all seen and heard, from Glee, the wonderful, I say wonderful, Santana. Here's the thing with Santana, I hated her. I was also very obsessed with her. I feel like this is a common pattern that I'm seeing in bi crushes. I think she had the most incredible voice. I also just don't like bullies, but I respected that she had a struggle of a journey. I have to also caveat this by saying I didn't finish watching Glee. I was late to the Glee train, and I started watching it when there was like a little bit of scandal and just stuff happening in the real world where I was like, maybe I shouldn't continue watching this. But I heard that Santana turns a lot nicer. I didn't mind spoilers. I'm gonna put out some spoilers now. It's an old show, you can deal with it. But I was basically encouraged to seek out Santana's coming out scenes, and that journey seemed really beautiful. It seemed like it was portrayed in a very beautiful way. She redeems herself, I guess, but I don't like the fact she was a bully. I was still obsessed with her. That's the message. That's the Santana. Okay, moving on to perhaps a lesser known show. I don't know if any of you guys will know it, but there was a show called Being Human, and in the UK version, Aidan Turner played a vampire, and there was this cute ghost called Annie. And actually, Annie was really sad. Her storyline was really sad, and everything about the show was really sad, but I just had such a soft spot for her. And when I look back now, I'm like, oh, maybe I can see where that's coming from, because she's also just insanely pretty. Aidan Turner, who plays John, the vampire as well, very attractive. Less so with this hair, but I did have the chance to meet him recently, and he is still annoyingly attractive. Just putting it out there. He plays a hero, baddie, I don't know, I'll let you decide, in a new ITV show called The Suspect, which is very good. I was very hooked, and maybe in part that's to do with his very good looks, but we'll just leave that discussion for another day. And the final one that I can share with you today, after being incredibly embarrassed, is basically the cast of Victorious. Did you watch Victorious? It was like a Nickelodeon TV channel. I think it's where Ariana Grande got her like break mainstream on TV. She played this red-haired character with a very unusual voice called Kat. But the people that I was super crushing over on that show was a character called Beck, played by Avon. I remember actually Googling him at the time and being like, oh my goodness, he's brown. This is so unusual that I found a brown person attractive. At the time, I was very internally racist. I was not okay with my skin colour or my place in society, and I was so confused as to why this was happening. Avon also comes up in a later movie, Zombieland, I think recently, and he's not as attractive anymore. But in Victorious, wow, he was something else. And same goes for Victoria Justice, who plays the lead in Victorious. I just thought she was incredible in every which way. Even when she did things wrong, even when she had that weird prosthetic makeup that couldn't come off as a giant witch, I was like, no, you be kind to Victoria. I would also consider putting Jade on that list, but she was also very mean. Personality is a big thing for me, and I don't know, because like I do like the badasses, clearly, but I just don't like bullies. So I feel like I have an internal conflict that my little bi mind has to fix somehow, somewhere. But for now, I think that's probably about as much embarrassment as I will subject myself to today. What do you think? Were any of my steps towards my bisexual awakening similar to your steps? Let me know. I didn't even go into superheroes. Catwoman, the Halle Berry from the terrible movie, but beautiful, beautiful character. Elektra, oh my goodness. Lara Croft. Okay, we have to stop. This video could go on forever. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye!